Week 7, video number 9. The topic is Detecting Ideological Bias in Digital Content, How Online Language Reveals Political Leaning, Social Positioning, and Agenda Patterns. Hello, friends. Welcome back. Today, we dive into the one of the most dynamic spaces of forensic linguistics, detecting ideological bias in digital content. Every digital post carries a signature. Sometimes it is obvious, sometimes it is hidden in the choice of words, the tone of criticism, the style of humor, or the sequencing of arguments. The internet never speaks neutrally. Your task is to learn to hear the ideology behind the sound. Ideological bias is the influence of political, religious, social, or cultural beliefs on digital expression. This bias may present as opinion disguised as fact, subtle narrative shaping, linguistic targeting of groups, emotionally loaded terminology, or selective visibility of information. On digital platforms, ideology often hides beneath entertainment, humor, or just sharing. Explicit ideology is easy to spot direct statements supporting or opposing a political party, movement, or belief. But implicit ideology is a far more pervasive. It appears through word association, framing techniques, comparative structures, irony, or sarcasm. Symbolic phrases like anti-national, liberal elite, urban naxal, and coded hashtags. Implicit ideology hides inside tone, not just content. Certain words are ideological magnets. For example, terms like ecosystem, lobby, urban naxal often signal right-leaning commentary. Words like fascism, authoritarian, oppressor often signal left-leaning commentary. Digital content use vocabulary not just to describe reality but to align with a belief system. Linguistic fingerprinting helps detect these affiliations. Sentence structure reveals ideological stance. We can take some example. Active voice used to assign blame, passive voice used to soften accountability. Contrast structures. While X tries to help, Y continues to destroy. Conditioning framing. If they cared about the people, they would. So, repetition of this kind of questions. This pattern indicate argumentative positioning rather than objective reporting. Ideology often hides in grammar. Hashtags are digital identity badges. They connect user to ideological tribes. For example, nation first, save democracy, no CAA. Hashtags are not just labels, they are recruitment tools. They reveal alignment, sentiment, and intended audience. Hashtag cluster provide a linguistic map of ideological ecosystems. Memes appear rumors but carry deep ideological cues. Through humor, they disarm the audience, simplify complex issues, mock opponents, encode stereotypes, evoke emotional reactions. Memes bypass rational thought and enter emotional memory. In forensic linguistics, memes are examined not just visually but linguistically. Captions, symbols, metaphors, and humor styles. Memes are ideology in disguise. Echo chambers are digital spaces where users mostly encounter ideologically similar content. In these chambers, bias becomes normal, extreme views appear moderate, language pattern become predictable and repetitive. Echo chambers create linguistic homogenization, meaning most users use identical phrases, arguments, and symbolic vocabulary. This uniformity is a powerful forensic clue. Dog whistle language refers to coded expressions that carry two meanings. One is ordinary and the second one is ideological. We can say, example, law and order may signal anti-minority sentiment. Our culture may imply exclusion of certain communities. Preserve identity, illegal infiltrators, anti-national forces. These appear mild but carry ideological energy. Only the intended group fully understands the deeper meaning. In a real case, a thread on social media began with a neutral observation. By the 10th post, it contained a strong ideological claims framed as data-driven truth. Linguistic analysis revealed selective statistics, exaggerated modifiers, coded hashtags, and repeated ideological metaphors. The thread was reshared by influencer, framing the narrative as movement. Ideology uses language as fuel. Forensic linguists examine lexical frequency patterns, narrative sequencing, semantic frames, argument structures, identity markers in posts, code switching patterns, and intertextual references. This analysis helps detect not just stance but intent, influence, and ideological coordination. Repeated exposure to ideological narratives leads to desensationalization, polarization, identity rigidity, hostility towards outgroups, and justification of extreme action. Online language doesn't simply reflect ideology, it cultivates it. Recognizing ideological cues help prevent escalation. Thank you for engaging with today's session. Recognizing ideological bias in digital communication is one of the most essential skills for modern forensic linguists. In the next session, we will study how misinformation and ideology combine to create radical propaganda pipelines, shaping political behavior and social divisions. We'll see you in video number 10. Thank you. Thank you very much.